So now we're going to section 2. We're looking to collections of single images. So we've worked with a raw collection in section 1. And now we'll learn about image collections with different levels of processing. Specifically, we'll be working with the surface reflectance Landsat 8 image collection. So as we've seen, the raw collection, it's only the data type is digital number. There's no conversion to radians, no thermal calibration, no solar correction, no atmospheric correction. But we know, luckily for us, the data providers also make available these other collections where they've done all of these pre-processing steps so that we have at the end a surface reflectance value, which all of this has been applied. So that's what we'll be working on right now. So if you open this checkpoint, I'll go here to the book repository and open F1.2 checkpoint. And you see that differently from the other checkpoint we had, this is a complete new script. So I'll also clean here my working scripts to start from scratch. And I'll start by copying lines 1 through 23. So now we work with Landsat 8 surface reflectance. The first code command we do here, we define another point. You can see here, I got some error here on my console, cannot read properties of null. This is fine. Sometimes Earth Engine throws these errors, but this won't impact anything here in our script. So here now I'm defining a point. This point will be located in San Francisco. So I have this longitude and this latitude here. So it's close to San Francisco. The second thing I do is import the Landsat 8 surface reflectance collection. So I'm defining this variable Landsat 8 SR, which I'm pointing to the Earth Engine data catalog specifically to this collection here. I have this path, which we can do the same. We can copy and paste here on the search bar to see which collection I'll be working on. And you can see only one raster data set here is returned, which is exactly the one that we'll be working on. And you can see that, it says that it has been atmospheric corrected. So we have surface reflectance values and land surface temperature. And then it talks about all the algorithms and code that they use to do this processing and corrections. And previously, for example, we had our bands were like B1, B2, B3. Now we have SR_B1 because we changed the name to the surface reflectance since we're working with surface reflectance data. So hopefully you won't be seeing too many clouds again because all of the images have been converted to surface reflectance. Corrections into atmospheric interventions have been applied and all of that. So here we're defining this collection. We're not applying any filter here, but down here, this is what we've learned in section 1. So from lines here 18 to 21, we're defining a new variable, which will be an image. So it's Landsat 8 SR image, where we're taking this surface reflectance collection, filtering by date. So we're filtering to a specific date here in March 18th. You can see that it's March 18th, the first date, and then the second one is March 19th. But again, this date is exclusive. So we're filtering to this specific image that I know we have in March 18th of 2014. And I'm filtering by bounds again, so by a location, and I'm using the point in San Francisco that I have to find. And I'm calling the first function because although, you know, there's only, if I had only until this line here and didn't have this first function here at the end, I would still have a collection. Even if it's a collection with just one image within it, it would still be a Earth Engine object image collection. So I'm calling the first function here so we can have a ee.image object returned. And then I'm printing this image that I have filtered here into the console. So here on the, if I click run, I clicked run, and I can see that it is one image. If I expand this, I can see that in the image ID, for example, I do have here the year, the month, and the date, So it's exactly this date here that I have to find in my filter date function. And if I expand here the bands, you can see that the bands have SR_, because, you know, this is the surface reflectance collection. So the images have the SR_ prefix in all of these bands here for the surface reflectance bands. We also have surface temperature bands and other types of bands as well. Now I'm gonna copy the rest of this first checkpoint. So from -25 to the end, and I'll add here, I'll paste it here at the bottom. So the next step here, after we print this image into the console, we are again centering the map into an object. So we are using the map.center object to center the map into the image I have just defined, and I'm giving a zoom level of 8. And then here, next I have map.addLayer function, where I'm adding this image into the map. Here the bands you can see it's SR_B4, SR_B3, SR_B2, so the visible bands, red, green, blue. And then I have some pixel values, and I'm adding this image to the map, and I can click run. You see that right now, for example, my map is still here in Minneapolis, but if I click run, because I have the map.center object, you automatically bring me to that image that I have selected here, filtered and selected. And you can see the difference from this image here in San Francisco, which is a surface reflectance image. You can see, if you recall the last image we saw, which was a winter image in Minneapolis, this one looks much better. It's clear. We don't have basically any clouds. There's probably, this is a cloud maybe, but you can see it's this image has been atmospherically corrected. The values have been adjusted to surface reflectance values. So the image is much better, when you say, than the previous image we had.